These are the types of comments I'm seeing today. Time to get a second job. Oops, gotta mortgage my house. I gotta sell my kids. The Marvel stuff has dropped and it's thrown everyone into a fury, including me, Nick Fury.
I see what you did there because he's one of the characters from that universe.
He is. Enormous thanks to all of the heroes supporting us over on Patreon. You're all worthy of lifting Mjolnir. You are all individually the Stan Lee cameo in our lives.
Big thank you to all of our channel sponsors. Card Conduit, that's a great spot where you can take your unused singles and you can sell them. You take your cards, sell them to Card Conduit, or you send them to Card Conduit. Card Conduit buy lists them, and then they send you some money. And you can take that money and you can use our TCG affiliate link when you head on over to TCG Player to buy your singles. And also Drip Shop, where you can find us once a month. We're going to be opening packs of the latest set, giving stuff away. There's auctions. It's a whole shebang. Join us for that shebang.
Also, big shout out to Dragon Shield, MTG Stocks, and Moxfield. Jake, New York Comic Con 2024 is underway, and there was a panel today with Marvel stuff, namely a lot of secret layer stuff. Jake, the first of which I guess we'll start with here, the Arcane Signet that you will receive every time you spend $199 on this. And they've made it easy to spend $199 because those prices have been upped.
Yeah, we're going to notice that about all these secret layers. I'm sure people in the comments are already like, well, this secret layer, I'm going to get it, but I'm kind of disappointed they took it from the 30-40 to the 40-50.
It has happened.
Yeah, you're going to see some of the prices of these cards and just like the secondary market price of these cards. There's a little bit of a hybrid thing going on with this secret layer. You have mechanically unique legendary creatures based on characters, and then you have some cards that have been renamed that are other Magic the Gathering reskins.
Godzilla,
and then you have some cards that are the Godzilla treatment. And then you have some cards that are just like Heroic Intervention here, which is just, that works as something going on in the Black Panther kind of like universe, right?
Exactly.
It's like, Heroic Intervention could work, so they just kept that card the same name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these are really fantastic. I like this approach a lot. It's honestly like all of the different tricks they've been pulling over the last 2 to 3 years have led us to this point. We have got mechanically unique secret layer. We have got Godzilla reskin on cards, and we've got straight up reprints with themed art. I am personally in love with these. I'm very open about what I want secret layers to be, and that is commander starter kits. And dude, your commander is mechanically unique. Then you've got themed art on all the cards that come with it. They can all be played in the deck, and some of them even have renamed to be even further themed to the main legend. This is just such a home run for me. And Jake, before we get into individual cards and like some of the values we see here, I think it's worth mentioning mechanically unique legends in secret layers have we'll say typically done well.
There's a lot of different things to kind of take into consideration. When you think about like the Through the Wormhole secret layer, which was like a home run because it's like, it gives you all staples. When I look at these different secret layers here, like the one around Captain America, it has some good staples in it. The one based around Iron Man, it has some good staples in it. And the same can be said about all of them. Like this Iron Man, I'm like, give me 10 of them. I know a good 4X when I see it.
Bro, this is ridiculous. Just the Soul Ring alone, you're like, well, that's going to be expensive. That's going to be
the treasure token.
I know. This, like the Commander's
Inventors Fair. Inventors Fair is already an expensive card. Now they're giving you a Tony Stark Marvel-themed Inventors Fair.
$13 on just a base copy of this card. By the way, Commander's Plate, $35. Eesh.
Right. And that beautiful peppermint right there, that Soul Ring.
Ugh, I love it.
I'm a big fan of that, too.
I'm just salivating, dude.
Yeah, so this is... it's going to be something that people go crazy for. I would imagine that this is going to be something that Wizards of the Coast knows people are going to go crazy for. I would expect 100%. There to be a ton of these.
Yeah,
I would imagine
hope.
probably more of them than any secret layer that's existed.
Yes. Obviously, yeah, you're right. The mindset that you're talking about, the path that you go down thinking, am I going to be able to get this? They are with this layer. We just took one detour with the Pixel Perfect layer into this is print to demand world. Here, this is limited. This is back to the regular model, back to normal. We're all going to need to line up on the day. We're all going to be in our Discord. Make sure you join our Discord. There'll be lots of pings and flying things on that day. But getting these, I would agree with you, Jake. It has to be something that they're anticipating to be maybe one of their best-selling secret layer offerings of all time. And you would hope that they have pre-ordered enough to fulfill that, because you're going to have collectors that are all over wanting to just get into arbitrage on this one. You are going to have people that want it just to want it, right?
Yeah, I'm sure that there's someone who's like miffed that I said, give me 10 of them, but I'm not even kidding.
Neither am I. This is something I want to buy max of too. I'll join you, man.
I'm a big fan of each of the mechanically unique legends. There isn't one that I've read where I'm like, that one sucks. I think the ones I'm the most excited about are Wolverine. I love that they put regenerate back on a creature. If they hadn't, it would have been a big failing of what Wolverine does.
True,
right?
And that's worth talking about.
Yeah, and then I also love Captain America. I think it's going to have people getting into stuff like Argentum armor and playing these big unused equipment, which I think is really fun.
Well, Excalibur is kind of the card that everybody's calling out from the gate because it's super expensive. You throw it, deal 12 divided, it reattaches for free after you've attacked. Like, it's just silly. Yeah, so I'm with you, man. Captain America.
He has a little bit of like an Imskir kind of vibe going on, which I am a fan of.
Right.
And then I really, really love Storm. I think Storm is going to be something that people do some really busted stuff with, because you're going to be storming off with spells you don't typically do. This is going to be one of those commanders that I'm not smart enough to play well, because I won't be able to keep up with all the things that are going on.
People that I trust to know what they're talking about are already saying, oh, I can't wait to try this in CEDH. So that is where it should tell you where Storm is probably going to land. Also, people are talking about how strong Iron Man is. We're not going to use this video to break down the individual mechanically uniques. We'll do that in a different video. We want to kind of talk about this layer as, you know, its placement in the world of Wizards and the economics of it, really. But yeah, dude, playability has been top conversation, which is going to define the mechanically unique's value long term anyway. And yeah, man, everybody's mostly excited about pretty much everyone. You're right. There's better and there's worse, but there's no terrible.
Right. And that's really cool. And for the most part, I feel like they got the color identities correct, which is awesome as well.
100%.
I think it's really cool. You know, Storm being Teamer, I see it. I was kind of like up in the air about how I felt about that one.
Captain America, the air about Storm, huh?
Up in the air about Storm. The only one I think is kind of off is Captain America, because I don't see Captain America having blue. But I was talking to somebody today who said, well, it kind of falls into like the Law and Order of things, that blue-white color identity.
Tactics. You hear, you know, strategic planning. Any of the cards that are like draw 2 cards and discard unless you attacked, right? There is some tactician that lives in there. But I would have
thought Boros.
Yeah, I feel you.
Up.
But here's what I think they did with these, Jake, and it goes back to your point on I'm in love with the fact that they put Regenerate on Wolverine. I think that this secret layer is not only serving as an enormous cash infusion to Wizards of the Coast here at the end of the year, but I think it's also serving to go, look, y'all, we get what the baseline designs of these would be if you just didn't put a ton of thought into this, and you were like, Captain America's supposed to be red, white, and blue. They even put the symbols in that order. Wolverine is supposed to be a regenerating creature. And so I think they've done 2 things. They're going to make a lot of money because this is going to be way overhyped because it's the first Marvel stuff out of the gate. We're going to get an absolute deluge of Marvel stuff for the next 2 years, but they're going to make a lot of money this off the gate. And they're going to just kind of off the rip set expectation and be like, look, y'all, we know how to design them the way that is like the generic character representation. Now we can go in and decide, like Lord of the Rings, we want to design a version of this Wolverine around X-23, around specific periods of their character story. And this allows them to just kind of lay the groundwork, say, we don't need a red, white, and blue Iron Man, Captain America every single time. We gave you that. You got that. Now here's Steve Rogers, and he's mono red in this version for some reason. He's white and
or
red.
Mono white.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they can play around with it a little bit more. And so I like that. This is also going to serve that purpose.
Yeah, so I think there's going to be huge demand for it. That is definitely something to consider. If you're on the fence about this, I would be there day one just to make sure. If you have to have it, definitely be there day one. And all of these cards, I would expect this art only to exist in these secret layers.
Agree.
There's also a chance, in my opinion, that this is the only Captain America First Avenger that we get. This is going to be the only one that exists, and it's going to be in the secret layer. The other Captain America that we see in the main set is going to be different. It's just going to be completely different.
Captain America's, most likely.
Yeah, I think there's going to be multiple, just like they did all the Gandalfs and Frodos and different Saurons and all that kind of stuff. I do think that Iron Man Titan of Innovation, it's only going to exist in this secret layer. I don't think we're going to get Iron Man Titan of Innovation in a different art style, for example, in the main set.
No, I wouldn't think so either. I think that these will be the same as the Dungeons and Dragons before them, or the Street Fighter, or the Walking Dead, where they can, if they'd like, produce, in-universe versions, universes within, to get reprints of these. But if you want to play Iron Man Titan of Innovation with that Tony Stark art on it, you're going to need to get this secret layer or the single from somebody who bought the secret layer. Yeah. Really, the last thing to talk about, Jake, obviously our opinion is that these are all economic slam dunks, that really there's only up for this. And so talking about the values of the individual cards is a little redundant, but with Wolverine, I think it's worth noting that there's a lot of really good value through all of these layers. Ozolith reprint, $36 is a base copy of the Ozolith. And Berserk, this is a $21
card.
Insane. Up in the Storm layer, Ice Storm, this one's artificial, y'all. This is a $50 plus card, but the card, if it got a meaningful reprint, would be a quarter. This is don't look at this for value. Burger. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's fun. Don't get me wrong. I like it. It's a funny inclusion. I like that you could storm with a mono green destroy target land, but the value of this is artificial. However, the value of Jessica's Will at nearly $20. No, not at all. Not even the least little bit.
I want to say this about the Storm one before we move on.
100%.
But Lightning Bolt, Manamorphose, really interesting to have two cards that are like all-star. Like Manamorphose is such a Storm card, and it's been played in a lot of Storm shells and is essentially a staple in that deck. So I think Manamorphose is really on point and cool in here. It's also a card that could show up in modern decks, and the same is true for Lightning Bolt.
Yeah.
So look out for that. Pauper is probably going to be really interested in the Lightning Bolts and even possibly the Manamorphose. I think Manamorphose was actually a Pauper card as well. I think it was printed at Common at one point. So it is cool to see, in addition to big splashy EDH cards, some of these do have constructed 4-ofs that if people want to fill out the full Lightning Bolt set, that could really drive the price. But yeah, Jessica's Will, great commander card. Fantastic. And then Storm Force of Nature, everybody's like, oh shit, that's a commander card too.
You know what I'm also noticing sitting here looking at the arts as you were talking about the cards is that they're using these to really represent, hey, we're going to show these characters in literally any form from any story in any time that we want to.
That's cool.
You got every version of Storm here.
Wow.
Yeah, or every version of Storm here is different is what I meant to say. even with the Mohawk look, like this is so tight. OG X-Men look back here. Look at Jean Grey in the OG costume. So that's kind of cool to see, that I noticed as we were looking at it. Value-wise, Iron Man, Commander's Plate, $35, and that card, holy bro, this card is going to be so expensive. Inventor's Fair at $13, really Soul good Ring. There. Oh, dude, I mean, yeah, it's even hard to talk about it because you just don't. It's going to be a really expensive card.
This one here, Galvanic Blast aside, which again is a good playable card in certain like constructed decks. If you're in an artifact centric thing, Galv Blast is going to be one of those cards that you probably run.
And the artist's interpretation of moving 2 to 4 damage if you control 1, 2, 3 artifacts instead of just the one. Never mind. So good.
It's just funny.
It's so good.
Yeah, but in addition to Iron Man being a mechanically unique card with a big effect, you have absolute staples in here. Aside from Galvanic Blast, Commander's Plate, Soul Ring, Inventor's Fair, anybody who's in an artifact-centric kind of shell, they're running Inventor's Fair so that they can sack it to go get whatever their big payoff is. I always go grab Metalwork Colossus with this card. It's a fantastic card, or in my deck, but
sure.
There's a lot of different ways you can use this card. This one is packed full of staples. This one I see being like A+ S tier. There's really not a dud in it, and we don't even talk about the treasure token, and I think that's probably going to be one of the most expensive treasure tokens as well.
Yep. Yeah, very possible. Captain America, Sword of War and Peace is nearly $10. Flawless Maneuver, nearly $10. Sigarda's Aid, $8.
Good card.
And then up at the Black Panther, you've got the Heroic Intervention, which is worth $11. And look, y'all, the mechanically uniques are just going to be so insane. They're going to be absolutely nuts. And then back to where we started, the Arcane Signet that you can only get every $200 spent. This is another one where it's just going to be like, damn, you want the Avengers deck? At least right now, all of the options are the Soul Ring from the Iron Man layer and the Arcane Signet if you spend $200. So, Jake, I think that we've got an expensive, hyped up layer on our hands that is just going to do a lot of things.
Yeah, at minimum, if you just buy every secret layer, you're going to end up being able to get the Arcane Signet. And then it was also teased that there is Spider-Man that we haven't seen yet.
That's true.
We got this like announcement, like Spider-Man's going to be in there as well, or I don't know if it's going to be released around the same time.
It's a whole Spider-Verse set. One of the Marvel sets they've announced just to kind of set expectations. You know, we were like, how are they going to do these sets? Is it going to be, certain events? Is it going to be timeline stuff? They were like, nah, dog, we're going to have a Spider-Man set. I'm saying this right now. This is a sentence I'm saying in my life. There's going to be an entire Magic the Gathering set created around Spider-Man and Spider-Verse. What is our life? Where are we right now? What has happened? What did they do to us?
It is the Fortniteification, and it has been for some time, and this is a huge step in that same direction.
Oh, yeah.
And there are going to be even wilder secret layers that come out. We've already heard some silly rumors that we're not going to delve into, but
the rumor goblins are running around crazy right now, dude.
The rumor goblins are out there. You never know where or when they're going to pop up, but we do appreciate all of you. It's a wild time to be a Magic fan. This is going to be the kind of thing that really sells out. There's going to be a lot of people that are hyped on it.
I really think so.
I would say do not sleep on it if it is the kind of thing, and not trying to be one of these people. It's like, oh, you're pumping it.
All we can say is what we're going to do. We will be there at least 15 minutes before this thing goes live.
Yeah, we've done this song and dance before. Yeah. And the thing is most of the people, you'll see a lot of people complain. One of the biggest YouTube channels got on and he was like, Magic the Gathering Mystery Booster. I got on and it took me a whole hour to get it, and then that layer was available for 30 days. This is going to be the exact opposite.
Correct.
It's going to be like
there will be complaints that will be completely valid with this one, and we'll just say that right now.
Yeah, there's going to be so many people that line up for this, and I do believe that some people, just like with Monty Python, which sold out like that.
Yep.
I'm hoping that this is like 10x that size.
Availability, yes.
I imagine it will be.
It's got to be.
You want high availability for it, but that said, don't sleep on it, or else you will be going to the secondary market to buy it at like a 2x markup, like the day that it comes out.
Minimum.
So,
yep. Y'all, if you've seen your name floating here in the middle of us, thank you for supporting us at the $10 level or higher on our Patreon.
We love you.
You got some free Dragon Shield sleeves with the official JAJAM art on there, and you can get them too if you want to go join our Patreon at that level. We appreciate you. We'll be back with more Marvel. That's it. Catch you later. Subscribe, please.
I think Gambit is going to be mono red.
Ooh, I think he's going to introduce purple mana.
Whoa. That'd be pretty sweet.
God, you know how pissed everybody would be if they introduced purple mana with a Marvel card? Oh my God, dude.
They would lose their shit.
Riots in the roads.
They would lose their shit.